Hello everyone. I'm back today with another video for Wild Whisper Designs, and I'm going to go ahead and do a traveler's notebook spread. I forgot to turn on my video when I first started this layout, so you kind of missed the little bit beginning, but not too much. I'm going to be working with some scraps from the Palm Paradise collection. So as soon as I saw this little cut apart that said Living the Life, which you'll see here in a minute, I immediately thought of this photo. This is a photo of my oldest son. I found it on his iPad, and it was taken by him. I generally I don't know, my kids don't take selfies much, so when I saw this one, I was like, oh, we need to scrapbook this one. And when I saw that little Living the Life cut apart piece, I immediately thought of this photo. So the only problem for me, and it's not a huge problem, but of course the Palm Paradise collection is very summery and hibiscus flowers and tropical, and this photo wasn't. So I decided to pull in this black and white striped paper and this kind of brown neutral papers from the collection to go with that little cut apart piece, and then I'm going to grab some stamps and some Lagoon Alt-New ink, which completely perfectly matches the teal color in that cut apart piece, and we're just going to create a really simple traveler's notebook spread. So this one is not long or hard or complicated. I'm going to do some stamping, and I'm stamping directly into my insert. This is a mixed media insert from Rock Your Notebook, so it's not going to bleed through. The stamping will be just fine, but it gets a little tricky when you want to stamp directly onto your traveler's notebook spread, and you'll kind of see what I mean in a minute. So I'm going to use some stamps from Rooted Love. I'm going to use the More Adventures stamp set. I'm also going to use the brush letters, which, let me check the date. So the date today is the 26th. So it's Monday, and on Saturday or Sunday, one of those days, they'll be live, and then you guys can get them. I know I have had a lot of people asking about them and loving them, and I agree with you, but they'll be available December 1st. And don't forget to jot down my code that you can find in the information below so that you can go ahead and get them as soon as they're available. So I'm going to have a little bit of trouble. I want to do this Chase the Story kind of stamp, but it's going to be a little bit funny, and unless you are a seasoned professional stamper that has done this a lot, don't do what I just did. But it did work, and you can see here how these are not going to be perfectly stamped just because of the nature of trying to stamp in a book with binding. And I'm using the smallest, so my advice would be to, number one, use the absolute smallest acrylic block that you can fit your stamps on, or that you have available to you, because that will help immensely. And then just be prepared for it to look a bit messy and not perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and add some black splatters to this stamped piece, just to, again, it's messy. We're going with it's messy. So, and then I'm going to move on to the other side. So I know that the side where my photo is going to be a little bit busier. So the side that is going to have kind of my title is going to be a little bit less busy. Still a stamped background, but I'm going to give the stamps a little bit more breathing room. Sorry for the crazy screaming in the background. Believe it or not, that's my nephew and my son. They're playing a video game, and they are literally 2 floors below me. And yeah, they're still really loud. So here is that cut apart piece that I wanted to place on the other side, and I'm just going to put it right there. And I also backed it with some of that brick looking paper so that I can pull all the different colors from the one side to the other side. And now I'm going to go ahead and stamp this title. So again, because I'm stamping directly into the book, I'm going to place my stamps down so I have a really good idea of where I want them to be, and then I'm going to stamp them using some black Alt-New permanent ink and the smallest acrylic block they will fit on. So here's my title stamped out. It's going to be Living the Life at 18, and then I put the date that my son took that photograph. And I'm going to go ahead now and just exactly what I did for the other page, except I'm going to keep the stamping a little bit more minimum. So I'm going to kind of cluster them together a little bit and leave some white space for your eye to rest on the other side of the page. And as you can see here how I'm stamping them out, I'm using all the same stamps I used on the other side, just giving them a little bit more breathing room, and then I'm going to hit them again with that black ink for the splatters. Last is to set my picture in, because of course I didn't want to splatter or stamp the photo. And then we have our layout pretty much complete. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this simple, easy Traveler's Notebook spread. And be sure to head over to the Wild Whisper site, and you can use my code DTSara to get a little bit off of your next purchase. I highly recommend those stamps, which will be launching in the shop on December 1st. See you all again soon. Bye!